Distinguish between labor and capital as factors of production. Labor and capital are the two main factors of production in economics. Labor can be defined as the people, together with their mental work, necessary to produce a good or service. On the other hand, capital is the human-made tools, machinery, or devices that are used to produce a good or service. Explain 3 functions of an entrepreneur as a factor of production. 1. Identify viable business opportunities. 2. Combine the other factors of production. 3. Provides capital required to carry out production. 4. Employs and rewards other factors of production. State and explain 4 limitations of division of labor, size of the market, level of technology, nature of goods, seasonal goods, availability of factor inputs, special talents creativity. Explain 2 similarities between a central bank and a commercial bank. Both banks act as agents of payment. The central bank acts as agent of payment on behalf of the government, and commercial banks acts as agent of payment on behalf of their customers. Both banks influence the supply of money in the economy. State and explain 4 functions of a commercial bank. Functions of a commercial bank include receiving deposits, dispersing payments, collections, safeguarding money, loaning money, and maintaining and servicing checking, savings, and custodial accounts. State and explain 4 effects of inflation in an economy. In an inflationary environment, unevenly rising prices inevitably reduce the purchasing power of some consumers, and this erosion of real income is the single biggest cost of inflation. Inflation can also distort purchasing power over time for recipients and payers of fixed interest rates. Differentiate between sole proprietorship and partnership as forms of business organization. A partnership involves 2 or more individuals, whereas a sole proprietor is a single person operating a business alone. A partnership may form an agreement that outlines operational terms and other business matters to regulate any future disagreements. Briefly explain the following. Deed of partnership. A deed of partnership, also known as a partnership agreement, is a legal document signed by 2 or more partners who come together and decide to run a business for profit. The partnership deed helps to resolve any disagreement or conflict which arises between the partners regarding the partnership norms. Articles of Association. Articles of association are rules that govern the company and which shareholders and directors have agreed on. The articles outline the managerial and administrative structure and responsibilities of the business and include information on the rights of shareholders. Memorandum of Association. The Memorandum of Association is the document that sets up the company, and the Articles of Association set out how the company is run, governed, and owned. The articles include the responsibilities and powers of the directors and the means by which the members exert control over the board of directors. Certificate of Incorporation. A certificate of incorporation is a legal document license relating to the formation of a company or corporation.
Distinguish between direct taxes and indirect taxes, 6 marks. Direct taxes are levied on taxpayers' income and profits. However, indirect taxes are charged on goods and services. The taxpayers pay the indirect tax to the government via an intermediary, thus indirectly paying the government. Explain the following concepts as used in economics. I budget. 2 marks. Budgeting is an ongoing activity in which revenues and expenses are managed to maintain fiscal, financial responsibility, and fiscal health. It is the process of planning and controlling future operations by comparing actual results with planned expectations, i.e., incidence of attack. 2 marks. Tax incidence or incidence of tax is an economic term for understanding the division of a tax burden between stakeholders such as buyers and sellers or producers and consumers. Tax incidence can also be related to the price elasticity of supply and demand. Value-added tax, VAT. A value-added tax, VAT or goods and services tax, GCE, General Consumption Tax, GCE, is a consumption tax that is levied on the value added at each stage of a product's production and distribution. VAT is similar to and is often compared with a sales tax. Tax base. The tax base is the total amount of income, property, assets, consumption, transactions, or other economic activity subject to taxation by a tax authority. A narrow tax base is non-neutral and inefficient. State and explain three sources of government revenue in Cameroon. For general government units, there are 4 main sources of revenue: taxes and other compulsory transfers imposed by government units, property income derived from the ownership of assets, sales of goods and services, and voluntary transfers received from other units. What do you understand by regional policy? 4 marks. Regional policy aims to improve economic conditions in regions of relative disadvantage, either within a nation or within a supranational grouping such as the European Union.
State and explain three objectives of regional policy in Cameroon's economy. Regional policy aims to improve the economic situation of relatively disadvantaged regions, whether within a country or a supranational group such as the European Union. Furthermore, regional policy can aim to address high unemployment rates and below-average per capita incomes. State and explain 5 government economic policy objectives. Governments aim to have sustainable economic growth for the long run. In emerging markets and developing economies, governments might aim to increase economic development before economic growth, which will improve living standards, increase life expectancy, and improve literacy rates.